Hello again, guys. So today we're going to briefly speak about the strategy that Mr. Sir Mappy had used to acquire his Shiba Inu gains from back in 2021. Of course, this is all just for educational purposes. None of what I'm about to say, anything that's discussed in this video here today, should be taken as any type of financial advice. Okay, so for you guys who don't know, Mr. Sir Mappy is the founder of the WikiCat meme coin, and he had used the proceeds that he had made from his Shiba Inu investment to create WikiCat. Now we're going to dive into the strategy that he used to acquire his wealth. Okay, so in 2021, Mr. Sir Mappy had borrowed $500 and he went all in on Shiba Inu. As he said it himself, make sure that you make at least 50 grand before you think about diversifying into other coins. So he chose the concentration method rather than the diversification at the start, which has proven to be effective, as we all know. So he concentrated and put all of his initial investment, all of his capital, which was borrowed at the time, into one coin, which happened to be Shiba Inu. So I believe I've also mentioned this before in previous videos. I'm pretty sure, as a matter of fact, that I've went into detail and explained to you guys that there's two ways. You have diversification and then you have concentration, where you go all in on one coin. One of them will increase the risk reward factor, and one will diminish the reward factor. You see, the more you put in, if you put a lot into one coin, the risk factor will increase, but likewise will the reward factor as well. You see, if you diversify, the risk factor will be diminished, but so too will be the rewards. So anyhow, he went ahead and put in all $500 that he borrowed, and he made around $483,000, almost $500,000, which is pretty awesome actually. But I'm pretty sure that he did not get in at around the 10 zeros area. Now, back in 2021, the price of Shiba Inu in January, I think, was around 9 zeros, somewhere around 9 zeros. And then in February and March, it dropped down to around 7 zeros. And come April, it dropped down to around 6 zeros. April, May, down to 5 zeros. So I don't believe that he had bought in at the absolute bottom, or not even at 10 zeros. With the amount that he made, I believe that he somehow got in around the either 8 to 7 zeros is what I'm thinking, judging by the amount that he had made, which means that he could have made a whole lot more had he gotten in even earlier. And that tells us something, guys, that the timing that we get into these coins are very important. But not only that, the amount also. So I want you guys to also pay attention to the amount that he had put into this coin. He actually borrowed $500, guys. So you want to keep that in mind as well. You want to keep in mind beforehand the amount, a certain amount. You want to think about it clearly, the amount that you want to make out of whichever coin. And then you want to beforehand pick a target number and invest that amount. Because I guess he could have borrowed $100, but he decided to go with $500. The more you invest, the more you will make, you see. But it requires some level of risk and a whole lot of faith. But it will pay off in the end. So this is where vision and revelation from the Lord will come in very, very strongly and very important. Because honestly, I don't believe that he had just got up and invested into Shiba Inu at that time by accident. It was preconceived, and I believe that he was led to do it by the Spirit of God, and he obeyed God. This is where obedience to the leading and the guidance of God's Spirit is very, very vital. It's very important. Guys, I've also shared this with you in the past as well, which is very important. I remember around those times when, back in 2021, Shiba Inu was just on the scene. It was new to the space. And I remember that I saw this coin, guys. And at the time, it was the Spirit of God, but I wasn't sensitive. I wasn't being sensitive at all to the Spirit of God. I had character flaws, guys. And unfortunately, character flaws can prevent you from breaking through, from acquiring wealth, from taking part in the wealth transfer. Yes, it most definitely can. Because while I saw this Shiba Inu, I was thinking to myself, even though I honestly do believe that it was Yah himself that led me to acknowledge this coin, because I remember it clearly while it was at around 10 zeros, guys. I remember that I could purchase it. I could purchase so many of these coins. I could own billions of Shiba Inu before it made that run back in 2021. And I decided to ignore it because I thought that, this is like, it's foolish. Literally, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that it's kind of like beneath me. There are more important coins like, XLM, which was and still is my favorite coin, XLM. I was more focused on these bigger coins, XLM, XRP and all of these. And my thinking was like, this coin is beneath me. This coin is like, it's foolishness. What is this, Shiba Inu? That's not for me. That's for some other guys, So that's for some other investors. And so I ignored that coin to my great regret, guys. Only to later see, I think it was, Elon Musk sent the tweet for Dogecoin, for the Dogecoin run, which I did partake in that run, but it wasn't Elon Musk. I think this was different. Whatever. Something had occurred, and I think it was in April, guys. Shiba Inu just took off, and I was there just to be a spectator, and I watched it just blast it off and went to the moon and created so many millionaires. People made hundreds of thousands. People even became billionaires off of it. You see, this one guy invested, I think it was $1,500, just over $1,000, and he made $1 billion. And when I saw all this news, man, I tell you, I learned something very valuable. So therefore, this information is invaluable because I don't want any of you guys to make this mistake, especially the ones that are new to my channel. Some of you probably have already heard this testimony. I've mentioned it in previous videos. So for especially any of you who are new to my channel, I'm going to go ahead and say it again here. Please don't let a character flaw or pride or whatever it is causes you to miss out on the blessings of God. Because it's done it to not only myself, but several other people, and it will happen yet again. You see, because remember that it's written that Yah uses the foolish things to confound the wise. You see, that's how God works. You see, and the way in which he does it is wisdom. It's very, very high wisdom. Because in this way, only the humble, the meek, will take advantage. Okay, so now back to his investments. So after he'd made around $500,000, 483,000, then he could afford to invest more into other coins. Then he went ahead and started diversifying. So next he went and spent, I think it was around $1,500 into Kishu Inu, and that had made him around 50 grand, which was sweet, pretty awesome. He also invested into this coin, I think he called it a transhuman coin. Hope I'm saying that correct. And he made 8 grand from that. He also invested in BSC cat coin, I think it's called, around $180. And then he went ahead and made $29,000 from that. Now that is also very, very cool, guys. That is pretty awesome. That's a nice gain right there. From just under $200, you make almost 30 grand. And from my understanding, what I'm thinking occurred at that time was the overflow of liquidity that came from that Shiba Inu pump had started spilling over to other coins. And that exact same thing is going to be replicated yet again. It's going to happen again, guys. Yes, so it took one coin first to make that life-changing pump, to pop off first, and then have the liquidity started pouring out of it. We're going to have a lot of sellers, and the sellers starts to take profits, and then they go into the bottom of these other coins, which will very soon thereafter start to pump as well. several hundreds or even thousands of percentages as well. So in this way, the liquidity, or the money rather, will flow from the first coin that is pumped into these other coins until the cups are filled, even as I've illustrated and explained to you guys in a previous video, until those cups are filled, and then they start to flow over also into other coins. So that occurred in the past. It was a clear indication of something which is much bigger that's going to play out in the future. That is exactly how the wealth transfer is going to occur, guys. It's going to occur again, and we're going to be partakers of it. So what had occurred in 2021 with this big Shiba Inu move was just like it was kind of like a dress rehearsal of something on a much bigger scale that's getting ready to play out. You see, whichever coin that pops off first, you see, it could be Lunk, it could be, like I've just recently shared, as regards specifically the dog-themed meme coins, it could be Kishu Inu, but it could be even more than one coins. It doesn't have to be in the past where it was just Shiba Inu. It could be more than one coins, guys, that pops off before the others. And then once that pumps and people start to take profits from it, the liquidity is going to be flowing very fast and very forceful, very violently into other coins, and they're just going to pop off very suddenly. And the good thing is he got in at the bottoms also, or very good prices off these other coins. He got in at the bottom of Kishu Inu, or at very good price for Kishu Inu and Transhuman Coin and Cat Coin BSC, hence why he was able to make so much from them. The ROI was very great, you see, on these coins as a result of him getting in so early. And so he was able to take the most advantage because he was a partaker of the first coin to take off. So again, what we've learned here is that the amount that we invest and the time that we get into these coins, which should be at the bottoms or near to the bottoms, are very, very important. And something else that is the most important is knowing which coin. Because if you're going to use the concentration method, that means that you're going to pour majority of your investment, if not all of it, in one particular coin. And if this is the case, you want to make sure that you're hearing from the Lord, that the Lord is leading you into that particular coin, which, like I said, I'm pretty sure that it was Yah that led him to invest into Shiba Inu at that time. And the same thing is going to happen again, where some coins are going to pump before others, and also some coins, because if you notice, the ROI on Shiba Inu was significantly greater, even as he himself had highlighted in his comment. He said that even though he spent less on Shiba Inu, he made more than what he had made for, like, you know, for example, for Kishu Inu. He spent $1,500, he made 50 grand. On Shiba Inu, he spent just $5, he made $500,000. So the ROI on some of these coins are going to be significantly greater than others. This is most definitely the case, guys. That's exactly how it's going to play out. And wisdom is to go into prayer, guys. Pray. The Lord will reveal it to you. And ask Yah for this revelation, because only Yah alone will be able to give you these types of revelation. Man can't give it to you. It only comes from God. But you can bet that there will be some coins which will pump higher than others. The ROI, the return on your investment, and the amount of money that your capital that you've placed to invest is going to be significantly greater than other coins. So you're going to also want to keep that into consideration if you're considering taking that route, if you're going to use the concentration strategy as opposed to the diversification strategy at first. You see, the decision will be completely up to you. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving you any advice at all. This decision will be entirely up to you guys if you're going to take that route, the route that Sir Mappy had used, which has proven to be very effective in my opinion. And I'm pretty sure that many of you guys will also agree. The only thing is to know which coin you're going to go heavy into. That's the only thing. You go heavy into it and hodl. You see, and see where it takes you. So there you have it, guys. You know, I thought it was very interesting the way that Sir Mappy had, you know, come into his gains, and I thought that it would be beneficial and very educational for many of you guys out there who are wanting to, gain some wisdom as regards to the different strategies you can use to make your gains in this cryptocurrency wealth transfer that is literally unfolding currently. So you guys go ahead and do with the information what you will. It's entirely up to you what steps you're going to take and the decisions that you're going to make to position yourselves. Now, that's it for this video. You guys, please take very good care of yourselves. Peace, shalom. Until next time.